my lovelies, welcome back to the channel. I have not edited a video for 2 days. We were in fact here on Christmas for about 5 to 6 hours, and then we went and had Christmas dinner with friends and neighbors, and it was such a beautiful time just to have that time with friends and family. And then they told me not to edit a video, so I didn't. I did the same yesterday, but we are here. We are back, we are ready to rumble. We have a lot of stuff to do today because we have to get most, if not all, the cage done today because Chris Webb is coming back and he is going to be burning the whole of the cage in. So let me explain why I am not personally going to be burning this entire cage in. This is very high stakes stuff, and although I'm all about learning and progressing with new skills along the way, when it comes to a race vehicle cage, not so much. Now, could I weld this? Of course I could. Would the welds look decent? Probably. Would it be as safe as Walter and I wants it to be? Absolutely not. Part of the motivation here is actually bringing everything around full circle. So after the cage is completely done, we're then moving on to wrapping up with the suspension and the wiring and the plumbing. And honestly, I really wanted Chris to come and finish the project that he started. His welds are beautifully consistent, and full disclosure, I wanted them to look pretty. Okay, so that means we have a bit of work to get done today, which is fine and good. So what we're going to start with is the engine bay bar. We're going to be using this fancy thing. This is called an interlocking tube clamp, and this is going to add a lot more rigidity to the shock tower, and it also allows us to take that bar off to service and or take the engine out if needed. Now what we would normally do is we would notch and cope the bar, right? That's what we normally do. That's what we've been doing. But with this, we're actually going to be notching the interlocking clamp, which makes me a little sad because, I mean, everything costs money, but this just looks really pretty. After we get that done, we're going to head on to the passenger compartment. We're going to get those crossbars upper and lower in there. So cut, notched, coped, tacked in. Yeah, we're going to take it from there. Remember, these bars are kind of hitting at a point where there are already 3 bars kind of welded or tacked together. So it takes a little time to kind of cope them into shape without having huge gaps or cutting it short, which I've done a couple of times now, and I'm trying so hard not to do that because it's just kind of a waste of material. Although I've actually been pretty lucky because I've been able to use that for something else. But we're still trying not to do that. So let's get to work.
1 hour later!
Okay, I know you're not gonna believe this. Yes, you are. I set up cameras, set one like up here, set one on the stand, I set one right here, and didn't switch one of them on. I'm so awesome at this. So let me just show you what the engine bay tube looks like. So you know how I said we were not gonna notch the tube, but notch the interlocking tube clamp itself? Well, that's what it looks like. So it just fits perfectly into here. Boop. Let's bring this over here. Okay, so this fits perfectly. Get them the same way. Right there. I'm just going to stop for a second, grab some lunch, and then we're actually going to head on to the crossbars in the passenger compartment. We need to cut them. One of them has already been cut and coped at the bottom right here. So it's been cut and coped to sit right here. but we haven't trimmed the top. Now at the top here, you can see that it's going to be sitting right up here, which is perfect. The bottom ones are going to be a little more complicated just because you can see all the planes that it kind of has to sit on here, here, and here. And then obviously the bottom as well. So that's going to take a little time, but as long as we have that, that's going to be perfect. Now, what I'm going to want Chris to do first is actually the main compartment. I'm going to need him to finish that off. What we're also going to need to do is we're going to need to kind of take that fuel cell, which is in the back of Nessie right now. We're going to undo those tacks and we're going to push it forward because we need a little more room behind the passenger wall at the back there. So we'll do that today as well. So I'm going to take a little break just now, get some welding done, kind of do practice some lines and maybe get some tube and quickly do that on my break. And then we'll get back to it. I will say I think my welding is getting better, but that's because I am practicing every single day, just a little at a time. So hopefully I'll be a professional soon. Anyway, it was time to move on to the upper crossbar in the passenger compartment, and I decided to cut and cope just a smaller piece of tube at 45 degrees on each angle, so 180 degrees away from each other. I did a 45-degree cut. That was just to check that I have the right angle for it to fit on that upper part of the car. Okay, I will say the second cut that I made, oh, this happened, and boy, did it take my wrist with it. Yeah, there we go. That hurt. So we just did a 45 crossed with a 45. This is a test piece.
Yeah, this was good.
Right,
a couple of relief cuts. And
that'll obviously work for up here. That's where it needs to go, is up here, but we're test fitting it down here just so that we can see exactly what's going on. All right.
It's good. Just needs to be cleaned up. Yeah, cut the corner in first. Alright, hell long. Crazy.
You know, I said that I didn't want to cut anything too short at the beginning of the video because then you're left with a tube that you may possibly not be able to use. Well, this one was cut just a little on the long side, so I was just taking that material back bit by bit by bit, just so I didn't make it too short.
Hopefully this fits on both sides. Power through it. It's all fine. Work with that.
All right, and I have them cut and coped and ready to fit in here. I always make sure, this is something I've learned along the way, to write exactly what tube it is. So a driver on this, it's gonna go on this side. Obviously passenger's gonna go on the other. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clamp them in place first, make sure that they're completely centered, and then tack them in. And then we'll do the same for the lower. Just so they don't shift. Look at that. Doesn't that look pretty? Get out of here, take a step back and make sure that they're centered. They're centered on the tube right now. So, in all fairness, it should be centered really good with the engine bay bar as well. Let's get those uppers tacked in first before we take a look at the bottom. It is done. The top bars are done, tacked in, ready for Chris. I'm going to quickly do the lowers just now, but I'm going to not film it just because it takes a lot of time to move the cameras around and I have to go pick up a package before the place closes because I need it tonight. And the guys have just called and said that they're still an hour and a half away. They're stuck in traffic. So I got to get this in. I gotta get over there, I gotta come back here, finish the couple of bars that are left. Guys, thank you so much for watching the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. sharp. And yeah, let's get this cage welder done.